blew the engine in my car. I ain't laughing. I'm just telling. I'm not gonna be a little bitch and sit here and cry about it and be like, oh, they killed my family. But for real though, it's a human excuse. They blew the engine up in my car. They stole the other one. I called the police the first week. Nothing happened. And like I know that the federal investigations can take years, so I gave them years. Then I found out they didn't do anything at all. So. It's ridiculous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not enough. Not enough. They threatened me and intimidated me and cornered me into doing it. And I didn't fall for it the second time. It was the first time. But I just don't like it. So the only thing I can do, like I said, is make enough videos of it and put it on the internet. And that's all I know how to do, because I called Supreme Court, I called the police, I filed FDIC, FTC, FDC, county, state, federal, and it is going on. And they're just like, they just act like this is not reality, that they didn't do it, and they did. So, but then it becomes a matter of them having to kill, 15 or 20 different people who are police officers over one family that were lawyers. And of course they're all going to gang up together and say, whose side are you on? And they switch the address out of their drug dealers with my families, and they stand there and say, whose side are you on? So it causes this huge, big social epidemic mess, and so the federal government chooses to just cover up genocide. So I don't know what to do. And then they point at this or that or this after the fact. Like, yeah, I broke the glass, and when they try and kill me, I break the glass, and I carve genocide into the glass, because that's what it is. So that's ridiculous every day of my life. But I got real excuses. Like, they attack me every day, all the time. Over a lifetime, I don't want to put an exact number on it. I'm talking about multiple $100,000 in damages over a lifetime. And it's ridiculous. It just never ends. They beat my cars up, they blow the engine in my cars, they sink my boat, they rip the siding off my house, they come to my house and refuse to leave. They take hostages and ask me if I'm willing to pay for them, whether they faked it or not. It's just, I don't think that they did fake it, but it's the same thing either way, because you lead me to believe that this is true. They say, can they buy a cigarette? Can they buy a cigarette? Can they buy a cigarette? I keep calling the police saying these people are taking hostages, and it is more than one thing at once. So I guess I'll go. I guess I'm done with New York City. I guess I'll go try and get the charges pursued in some other state. Because first I tried in California, then Nevada, then Colorado, and all that ended up happening is I got put into a gas chamber. And I finally feel better. Like, for a long time, I don't anymore, but the first couple years after they gassed me, it was a machine that went like this. And all I could see is blood red for 3 weeks. And I finally feel better, but I was fucking hearing voices and fucking... my sight was blurring and I couldn't function, but I feel better now. I've been taking like protein and fish omega oil and all the different stuff that'll try and get the brain to heal, and it did. So I'm okay, but like I said, I'm not gonna cry about it, but I want them charged. They tried to make me watch my family dying on video before they threw me in an oven while I was still alive. And I don't want it to be a huge social epidemic. I don't want it to be on the news, but these lines are the same, and I want them charged. I want them prosecuted, and I want them held accountable in court for violent extremism. And I'm like really serious about it. And it was more than one thing at once. It was other things too, but I'm not. They tried to merge it together, as they say. You know what they say. And this dude seriously is violent. And they planned it years ahead of time. And I went to school with his son, and his son was telling me how his father was going to kill my father. I take that really serious. So it's a hair itching me. And they do all that stuff. They have these little micro machines, and they're like, if he scratches his head twice, then it means this. But they got a little bug on your face. It doesn't mean anything. So it's just a full control manipulation. They say that they're not going to stop. And they try and make these false labels for their victim. Say I'm a drug addict. I've never been addicted to anything in my entire life, ever. Say that you're this or you're that, and they want to make this false profile. Their profile states that I can't read and write or take care of myself, and that's false. So they want to make a false profile and a false label to try and dismiss, to try and depict their victim as a drug dealer or whatever else. In this case, they try to depict me as a drug dealer, which I am not. And nothing would ever suggest that I am, because I am not. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I just called the Holocaust Museum. I've been calling the Supreme Court. I've been calling everybody. And I just want people to understand what goes on and why that it happens. Is it causes this big, huge social mess. But it's the patterns of society, especially white society. But it's the social tracks and patterns of genocide in white society, and it could have only taken place in a small town, a small area, and it did. But it's going to cause this huge social epidemic mess in the area to line all these police up to die. So I get it, but you couldn't at least get them to stop. You couldn't at least get them away from me. You couldn't at least like try and like de-escalate or calm the situation. Like, you're refusing. That's what it is. You're refusing to make sense out of it, and you're refusing to only look at it in the eyes of the state, which you're refusing to try and prove is false. That was not the same address. They switched the address out on the board, and that's how they do it, in the eyes of the state. And that's illegal. So, just want everybody to understand what happened. They're violent extremists, and they did it to the same technical science as figures such as Adolf Hitler, and I don't like it.